𝚈𝚎𝚘𝚅, you absolute mad lad of a character. This chapter was so packed with action, great reveals and moments, but this one line stood out above the rest. Too bad there isn't any poison gas for Jack left to use as well this time. This might very well have been one of the snidest replies in the story so far, and poor Jack just can't seem to catch a break. I'm genuinely excited to see how 𝚈𝚎𝚘𝚅 will hold himself in this 1v1. After all, both of them have actually been pretty badly injured. And who knows, maybe we'll even see Sanji giving a helping hand here as well. Though, honestly, it really looks like he's gonna go after Momo and Yamato. If you haven't done so already, get yourself a nice hot cup of coffee, lean back, and let's discuss chapter 1008 of One Piece. Now, the chapter starts off with the major cliffhanger from before the break. We see a very convincing looking version of Oden trying to convince the Scabbards that he got sent into the future by Toki and thus has managed to survive. So convincing, in fact, that one half of the Scabbards seems to immediately be convinced that this is the real deal. And I think it's no big surprise that Kinemon is among them as well. Now, Ashura Doji and Raizo, however, immediately get that this must be an imposter. And I just want to mention in advance here that I immensely enjoyed Ashura's character in this chapter. I honestly wish that we would have gotten a bit more out of his character, because he seems to have a truly interesting personality. And so while he reminds the others that Toki's powers don't work that way and that Oden certainly died on that day 20 years ago, we can see Oden slowly losing his composure. Nonetheless, I think it's actually scary just how good Kanjuro's drawings actually are. A truly frightening power. And the moment that his face gets cut and nothing happens is truly eerie. No blood, no ink, just that psychopathic smile. Orochi and Kanjuro being back has definitely raised the crazy level of this battle significantly. Now, Kanjuro tries to use the rest of the momentum he has to stab Kinemon, who has his back turned toward him. Ashura, however, without so much as a hint of hesitation, jumps in, cuts the painting, and then takes the stab himself, just to prove to his comrades that they must not be fooled under any circumstances. While wanting this to be the real Oden just as much as the others, he is well aware that he needs to make his point fast before Kanjuro can deal any more damage to all of them. And very much in Pedro's fashion, he willingly lets himself be blown up, all to save his friends. And even though I really wanted to have a bit more characterization for each of the Scabbards during the flashback, this scene really hit me. This, I feel, is what the Scabbards are truly all about. Fierce loyalty, trust, and love for each other, with each of them willing to give their own life for the others. This also is reflected really well in Kiku not being able to deal the final blow to one of their former members. And this chapter in general has just been absolutely fantastic for them as a group. I just wish we would have gotten to see this on a smaller scale maybe at some time before the battle. I think that would have made all of this even a bit better. But honestly, Shutenmaru not dealing with Kanjuro's continuous bullshit here is just very cathartic to see. And same as with Pedro, it's really hard to say if he truly died here, and it would certainly make for a much more dramatic moment. But I personally still hope that he's gonna somehow survive all this. Now, as it turns out, as we all sort of expected, Kanjuro isn't the only one who survived his apparent death. Orochi, no doubt with the help of his devil fruit powers, has also survived Kaido's attack and now has set fire to the castle and is looking to take revenge. I gotta say though that I'm not exactly sure what he's exactly trying to accomplish with this, because it's not like this will do any damage to Kaido. Now, the fact that both Kanjuro and Orochi are still alive are awesome and terrible to me at the same time. I really think that Oda was quite successful in making both of them into absolutely loathable characters. They're annoying, malicious, and creepy. On the other hand, however, I'm also really happy that we'll now get the chance for some real catharsis for the Scabbards, Momo, Hiyori, and Co. And while I honestly don't believe that Kanjuro is fully redeemable anymore at this point, I still think that there's a big chance that he will have some sort of insight later on and actually save someone. Or maybe Oda will actually go down the road of just letting him be purely evil. That would actually also be a very cool choice, though the redemption one is probably more likely and more in line with his moral message. Also, I want to touch on that short sequence with Momo and Yamato here. First, I think we're getting some more foreshadowing here that Momo at some point will unlock the power of Kaido's fruit. Much more interesting, however, is of course the fact that Momo and Luffy seem to share some sort of connection. Now, the first thing that comes to mind here is of course this scene on Zou, where both Luffy and Momo were able to communicate with it. I would actually bet my mini Zoro here that this is actually the same power operating here, something related to the voices of all things. What I want to know, however, is if this is exclusive for Momo or whether Luffy might not also be able to sense Momo's status as well. And speaking of Luffy, as Momo already spoils us, Luffy is worn out but in high spirits. And indeed, when we finally return to the top of the dome, Luffy seems to be actually enjoying himself here. Same, by the way, goes for Kaido, whose hybrid form finally is revealed. Honestly, it didn't exactly blow me away, but it still looks pretty badass. Plus, I absolutely love the fact that Kaido just keeps praising Luffy. I really hope that the matchups will be a 1v1 between Luffy and Kaido and the other supernovas against Big Mom. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Peace.